Hello. I'm back from a glorious weekend in the world's best place, Athens, Ohio. And here's what greeted me on the front page of my Sunday paper. This loser, Ted Carter, Ohio State's disgraced ex-president, the big winner in a months-long search to be president of the country's biggest university, washed out after only a couple of years. We should have known he was a doofus when he brought in the super high crypto bro to give the commencement speech, right? Does anyone even remember that scandal? Let me tell you what this Ohio State scandal has to do with Allison Russo. We're going to talk about 1, sham investigations, and 2, JobsOhio. Allison's record includes wanting you to accept bullshit investigations. I reported the mishandling of a sexual assault allegation at the House when I still worked there. House Republicans hired outside counsel to investigate. That outside counsel, hired by the House Republicans, rubber-stamped the House Republicans' actions. Surprise! And Allison fired me because I would not accept that. That is what happened. She has never answered for it. And as the Facebook groups have been popping off over the last week, I've seen that Allison's tiny fan club, one of their talking points is, Sarah, an independent investigation found no merit to your claims. That must sting. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Melissa. Hi, ladies. You know who you are. So who was in charge of this so-called independent investigation? John Perez. He's the founder of the Perez Morris law firm. And he's a Republican mega donor. And he's an OSU trustee appointed by Mike DeWine in November 2022. Yes, the boss of Ted Carter. Does he sound like a guy who's going to tell the Republican Speaker of the House something he doesn't want to hear? So John Perez, Ohio State trustee. The trustees are the boss of the president, Ted Carter. OSU, the big agriculture school down the road, my law school alma mater, they just investigated themselves. Didn't even do a sham independent outside counsel thing, just investigated themselves and determined there were no institutional failures. Ted Carter's just a bad apple who betrayed the school. Everything's fine here. No way we could have known. Nothing to see here. The Dispatch isn't buying it. Good for them. So part 2, let's talk about JobsOhio. JobsOhio is the secret slush fund created by John Kasich to privatize the Ohio Department of Development, meaning secretly giving our money to other rich guys to allegedly create jobs. JobsOhio gave Ted Carter's mistress $60,000. She obviously had no business receiving. Ted Carter pressured them to do that. Well, there's also a JobsOhio connection to my complaint that I made while working at the House about a sexual assault allegation that was swept under the rug. The young man accused of sexual assault is the son of a JobsOhio executive who rakes in $400,000 a year. More than that. I wondered at the time who the hell this kid's daddy was, but that information was hidden from public records because JobsOhio is a scammy, corrupt black box using our public money. The Rooster eventually exposed this info, and then I found the guy's salary on an IRS tax filing. So John Perez, OSU trustee, part of looking the other way, sweeping all this Ted Carter JobsOhio stuff under the rug, is the same John Perez who was in charge of sweeping my complaint, this sexual assault allegation, son of a JobsOhio executive stuff, under the rug. He's one of their cover-up guys, one of their fixers. So Lewis just said to me, you should say how it was swept under the rug because the kid got a 2-week suspension. He got something. So yeah, fair enough. So that kid only got a 2-week suspension instead of getting fired. The sexual assault allegation was never put in any of the paperwork. It was all papered over. And anybody who talked about this kid got punished or fired. They disciplined a woman. They put out the word, don't talk about our boy. He's our boy. And then they promoted him to leadership, to Bill Seitz's office. Protected, special status, preferential treatment. That's what he got. The women were punished or fired. So let's get this straight here. To Allison Russo's tiny fan club, you're a person who wants to be our Democratic candidate for Secretary of State has put you up to defending sham investigations by an Ohio Republican mega donor, John Perez. The same Ohio Republican mega donor that's playing fixer at Ohio State to hurry up and cover up this Ted Carter stuff. And she's telling you all that my problem, me, Sarah Cherry, her former lawyer, is that I won't accept the conclusions of the sham investigation by the Republican mega donor. And what makes you all better and wiser than me is that you'll gladly accept those conclusions because Allison told you to. Because you're playing follow the leader. She called the investigation bullshit, but she's got you all out here defending it. The report by the Republican mega donor. And she somehow convinced you that none of this is going to be an issue for her in the general election against a Republican? When Robert Sprague, the guy who's probably going to be the Republican candidate, Robert Sprague's former lawyer is now general counsel at the Ohio House. He's got easy access to all the dirt on Allison that they will 100% use against her. If she wins, we're going to defend our candidate, asking them to accept the conclusions of the Republican mega donor. That's our path to Democratic victory. The secret plan is we're going to go along with Republicans and go along and go along and go along just one more time, and then we beat them. Okay. Keep telling yourselves that. See you soon.